Hi all PMP aspirants, I am Pratibha. So the topic which we are going to discuss today is Scrum. The last discussion which we had was on the topic of extreme programming. So today we are going to discuss the most popular Agile framework, which is Scrum. So there are many Agile frameworks like Scrum, Extreme Programming, Kanban, and Scrum is also one of them. It's the most popular one. Now, what is Scrum? So Scrum, firstly, uh, the philosophy of Scrum says that no matter how complex your problem is, you can always divide it into a small, easily manageable pieces. And these small, easily manageable pieces always gives you a better control over the product, and it always helps you in delivering your potentially shippable product often with more efficiency. So this is what Scrum talks about. Now, before we go into the detail, uh, the topics which we will cover today is firstly the values of the values of the Scrum, then what is a Scrum, and we are going to discuss three most important roles: product owner, development team, and Scrum Master. Why today's video is important for you to watch? Because I am going to answer some of the most confusing roles and responsibilities of these product owners, Scrum Master, and development team, or some of the misconceptions which are there regarding these roles, which could actually give you a better clarity over their roles and responsibility, and it will also help you in answering your situational questions in your PMP exam with a better clarity and obviously with more accuracy. So that is why listening and watching it to the end is very important for you. Now coming back to the Scrum, as we were discussing that Scrum is firstly based on empiricism. It is a framework, it is an agile framework, and it is the most popular agile framework. The philosophy which Scrum is based upon, it says no matter how complex your problem is, divide it into a smaller, easily manageable pieces, and then do your development or do your product or a project management. Now, Scrum is based on empiricism. So, what empiricism is? So, empiricism, if you go to the dictionary definition of empirical, then it says something which is based on the experience, not on any hard theory or logic. So, why we say that Scrum is always based on empiricism, why it is based on experience, not on theory or logic, that is because of these three pillars. When we understand these three pillars, we will understand why Scrum is based on, why Scrum is empirical in nature. Now, the three pillars of Scrum are transparency, inspection, and adaptation. TIA, it's very popular. So you must remember what are the three pillars of transparency, inspection, and adaptation, and what details they are comprises of. So firstly, transparency is, you must have seen in many project management that some of the issues are always not kept into light of the customer, of the stakeholders, because it would put more noise, and development team will not be able to focus on the development of the product. But Scrum actually says that we should have a full transparency within the team and outside of the team. So all your stakeholders, all your customers, within the team also, with your development team, Scrum Master, product owner, you should have a transparency. where everyone should know what is the progress which the Scrum team has made so far. The work progress visibility should be there, and the issues should never be should we should never hide any small or a big issue from the stakeholder or the customer. So this is what transparency says. Uh, Transparency also says how Scrum brings transparency. So Scrum brings transparency through its various events also. So we will discuss them in detail in our later videos also. There are certain meetings which takes place, certain events which takes place in Scrum on daily basis, where the team will meet. So the daily Scrum meeting will take place. Then there will be a planning meeting that will take place. Then there will be a retrospective meeting where team will sit and retrospect on the work which they have done, and they will take the feedback on the areas which they need to improve. So they should always maintain this transparency. So even if you are documenting your retrospective meeting minutes, then you should always document all those areas which are identified as your improvement areas. So this is what transparency says. Transparency within the team, outside the team, with every stakeholders which is involved into the team, and through every artifacts or every meeting which is taking place within the Scrum. It should also be conducted with the spirit of transparency. If the team is facing any impediment, then they should highlight it as and when they are facing it, so that the earlier we start working on that issue, the more easier it becomes to handle or resolve that problem. Now coming to inspection, the second pillar of Scrum. What is inspection says is, so the role of entire Scrum team is to achieve the sprint goal. Now, in order to achieve the sprint goal, it becomes very important for product owner, for Scrum Master, for your senior development team members to actually investigate and to always inspect on the work which the team is doing. So this inspection should be always done as frequently as possible, so that you can identify any impediment, any weak areas, any issues which is there within the team, and which can hamper in achieving your sprint goal. So inspection should always be done by your product owner, your Scrum Master, or some senior development team members. They should all ensure that all the work which development team is doing, it's helping them in it's ultimately going to help them in achieving the sprint goal. Now the third pillar which says is adaptation. So the next thing which comes after inspection, now in inspection you have identified what the issue is. Now your team needs to adapt. Now your team needs to improve on that weak area, or to work on that particular issue. For that, your team needs to adapt. When we are talking about various Scrum events, then in the retrospective meeting, team reflects on the work they have done. So in that also, in that retrospective meeting also, team is trying to find out what their weaker areas are, and what could be the area of improvements, what needs to be done by them. So that is something which calls for adaptation. Now if you combine all of them, it comes through experience, and that is why this empiricism comes into picture. Everything which you are doing in your Scrum, your meetings on daily basis, when you are inspecting your work, and when your team is adapting, it is all happening basis the experience which the team is having. So there is no hard theory or hard logic, but that is why we say that Scrum is based on the experience. Now, few more things or qualities about Scrum which we should know is that it is lightweight, it is simple yet difficult to master. So why we say this? Lightweight because it's a framework. It's not any methodology. If you talk about a project management methodology, then it has several terms. All those concepts for anyone to learn will take a lot of time. But if you just think about the Scrum guidelines and principles, it's a very small guideline book of 16 pages. So you can just go through those Scrum guidelines in one day and can understand the concepts. And because it is also a framework, that is why we say that it is a lightweight. Second is simple, again for the same reasons that you can understand Scrum concepts within one day just by reading those guidelines. You can understand what are the guidelines that are defined, but still it is difficult to master. Why? Because the best example is to take the example of a game of chess, where we just have six different type of keys, but or six different type of roles are there, but still it takes years for a good chess player to master that skills. And that is why we also say that the guidelines which is defined into Scrum are very simple, but in order to master them, it takes years for Scrum Master, for Scrum team to continuously experiment with them and to continuously experience them. Then only you will become better at understanding Scrum. So now the next topic which we are going to discuss within Scrum is the values of the Scrum. So values, first value is courage. Why courage? Because we know that Scrum teams, especially these development teams, are self-managed teams. So no one actually tells these development team how to achieve that sprint goal. It's the decision of these development team. So whenever you are taking any decision, there is always risk involved into it. Risk is always a part of any decision making process, and that is why development team needs to be courageous enough to take those decisions. Similarly, if we talk about the role of a product owner, he takes a lot of decision regarding the roadmap of the product, the vision of the product. He is the one who sets the direction of the product. He is the one who is the most accountable for the success and failure of the product. So that is why PO has to be a very courageous and a bold person to take those decisions. Same comes for Scrum Master also. So every decision which you are taking, you might be handling a difficult problem or a difficult product or anything which Scrum team does not have experience over. They are trying over new things. All of these requires a lot of courage from them, and that is why courage. Second is focus. So as we have just discussed, the focus of entire Scrum team is to achieve those sprint goal. Everyone, each role, product owner, development team, Scrum Master has certain roles and responsibilities defined, and all of them needs to focus on their roles and responsibilities so that they can achieve the goal of that sprint. And that is why focus is very important principle of Scrum. Third is commitment. So when we speak about development team, we know that in a sprint they are committing to a piece of work. They are committing that they will be able to develop certain number of features, certain number of user stories. So each and every role, not just development team, even the Scrum Master, even the product owner, all of them collectively should take the should take the commitment, should have the commitment to deliver that to deliver that sprint goal, and that is why commitment is important. Fourth is respect. Self-respect and the respect of each team members is important. Not only the respect of the team members, but respect towards the ceremonies or the events which is taking place. There are events like daily scrum meeting. There are events like planning meeting, retrospective meeting, review meeting. So in all these meetings also respect is required. So let's just take an example here. Whenever a retrospective meeting is taking place, let's say whenever a review is taking place, then you are giving demonstration of your product to the customer. Customer can give you a feedback. So respect towards the feedback which you are receiving is very important. Then respect towards the product owner is very important, because he is the one who is going to prioritize your backlog. He is the one who is going to rank those features. He can change that order any point in time, because he knows which product is going to deliver the highest value. So that is why respecting the decisions of product owner, respecting the role of a Scrum Master who is always helping in facilitation, who is always helping in impediments removal. So that should be done. And same goes with product owner and Scrum Master as well, that they should also respect each and every development team members, because they are also the one who is contributing to the development of the entire Scrum, entire sprint. Then after respect we have openness. So what openness says is what your transparency says. So you should be open, firstly, in order to receive the feedback. You should be open with regards to sharing any issues which the team is facing. Those issues should always be highlighted whenever the team is facing it, so that the earlier you start highlighting those issues, earlier you address them, the better it becomes better it becomes for the team to resolve them early or to catch them early. Now openness with regards to your visibility of the work, also on the progress of the work which the team has made. So and openness to the diversity, because the Scrum team deals with variety of people. They deal with stakeholders, they deal with customers, they deal with internal and external members of the organization. So they should always be open to the diversified views that is coming into their way. So these are the 5 values which we have discussed. We have discussed why Scrum is an agile framework, why it is lightweight, why it is based on empiricisms, what are the 3 pillars of Scrum, and then we have discussed the values so far. Now the most important topic which I wanted to discuss and discuss to help you with your situational questions in your exam is these 3 roles and clarity of understanding of their roles and responsibilities, because that will help you in answering your questions correctly in the exam. Now the 3 roles which we have in Scrum is firstly the role of a product owner, then the role of a development team, and the third is the role of Scrum Master. So firstly, who is product owner? So product owner is the one who is setting the direction of the product, who knows the vision of the product. He is the one who knows and who lays out the entire roadmap of the product. He is the one who is dealing with both internal and external team members. He is the one who is actually at the center of entire product development, and he is the and we can also say that he is the one who is a mini CEO of your product, because he is levied with so many responsibilities. He needs to take a lot of decisions, and that role himself gives him this title of mini CEO. So here in this figure, what we see, S stand for stakeholders, C stand for customer, SM is for Scrum Master, and D is for the development team. So in the center, which you see, is the product owner. So he is the one who is dealing with, firstly, collaborating with the internal team and also with your external team. So your external team can include the stakeholders, and then it also includes the customers. Internal team includes the Scrum Master, development team. So collaborating with these people who are external to the organization and internal to the organization is one of the responsibility of product owner. Now we were trying to understand what are the different roles and the responsibilities which a product owner plays. So first, as we just discussed, he is the one who has the deeper understanding, the deepest understanding of what the product is, how the developed product going to look like. He is the one who is setting the vision of the product. He is the one who is setting up the direction of the product to the development team. And he is the one who is actually face of your team. Why? Because he is the one who is interacting with all the external stakeholders like customers, understanding what the requirements of these customers are, and then laying out that entire product roadmap. So first responsibility is product vision, setting that product vision. Second responsibility is creating that product roadmap. So product roadmap will give you the visual view of how many releases a product is going to have. Then what are the features which the development team is going to develop within these releases. So product roadmap will give you the landmarks which will be delivered at the end of these releases in the product. Then he is the one who is going to plan all these releases. So there could be multiple releases, and planning those releases, like what will be there in the release 1.0, in the release 2.0 or 3.0, what features will be delivered to the customer through the help of these releases, is something which is planned by product owner. Now he is the decision maker. So we know that product owner is at the central is at the center of your product roadmap, product vision. So that is why, because of his role, he is taking, by the virtue of his role, he is taking a lot of decisions. So that is why a product owner needs to be a very, very good decision maker. He takes the decision regarding the sole decision of what is going to be developed within a sprint, within a release, how the product roadmap would look like, how the product backlog would look like, and how he is going to refine it. The sole authority of all these decisions lies with product owner. So it's a very, very important and a crucial role. Then the another responsibility which a product owner plays is of refinement of the backlog. So product owner himself doesn't do this exercise, but he is the one who is actually in which a development team and the Scrum Master, all of them are helping in refining this backlog. So all of them would sit together. They would product owner would clarify the requirements to the development team, and then the development team would do the estimation of those user stories which they are going to develop, how many user stories they will develop. All these decisions development team will take in that planning meeting. But the role of refining that backlog, wherein clarifying the requirements of each and every user story, each and every feature, lies with product owner. Now, because we are also discussing backlog refinement, we should also discuss acceptance criteria. So product owner will give and will define what are the criterias which your user story must meet, where you will say that yes, this product or this user story which is developed by your development team can be accepted. So he is the one who is defining the DOD, definition of done, for that particular user story. Then he is the one who is ensuring that all the Scrum processes are also followed. The primary responsibility lies with Scrum Master, but product owner also looks after this. Then he is the one who participates in all the Scrum meetings. So we are going to discuss this in our next video. There are meetings like daily Scrum, planning meeting, then the refinement meeting takes place, then your retrospective meeting takes place. Then at the organization level also there is a meeting for portfolio discussion. Then there is a meeting for product roadmap discussion. In all these organizational level meetings or the internal meetings of the development team, all of them are done by the product owner. So we have just discussed why he is a mini CEO. Mini CEO because he is taking a lot of decisions for the team, and whenever he is taking these decisions, he must keep in mind the economics of your entire project. He must know what are the time constraints, what are the budget constraints, what are the resource constraints, and within those constraints he needs to achieve the best and the highest value features for the customer first. So in order to manage those economics, if he has to take certain decisions, then those responsibility of taking those crucial decisions also lies with product owner, and that is why also he is called as mini CEO. Now talking about the skill set which a product owner should have. So the skill set which a PO should have, firstly he should have a domain knowledge. Any product which he is developing or he is working upon, be it a banking product or an IT product, so he must belong to that domain in order to understand what he is going to get developed. Then second thing is people. So he is the one who is collaborating with external members of the organization. He is the one who is dealing with the internal team. So interpersonal skills becomes very important for your PO to have, because all these people, your stakeholders, your customer, can sometimes have competing requirements. In order to negotiate those meetings, facilitate those meetings, to reach to those decision making skills, he must have people skills within him. Then again, we know that product owner needs to take a lot of crucial decisions. He is the mini CEO of the organization. He needs to manage the economics of that product, and that is why he needs to be a good decision maker. Now another important thing which we need to understand about the product owner, that accountability of what your end product looks like, what whether your product or project gets project becomes successful or failed, then all its accountability lies with product owner. So that is why also it is a very, very crucial role. He is the one, because we know that he is the one who is setting the direction of the product. He is the one who is helping development team, refining those user stories, clearing the requirement of the product. Ultimately, whatever the product comes out to be is also a responsibility and accountability of product owner. Now, some of the confusions which we have regarding product owner is, firstly, can one product owner handle multiple Scrum teams? Can one product owner manage multiple Scrum teams? So the general answer would be no, it is not recommended. But let's say in certain organization, to handle one product, there are multiple Scrum teams kept, and multiple Scrum teams are formed because they want to keep the team size till 3 to 9 members. And if you are developing one single product, then in such cases we can have one product owner. Second thing is, even if your product owner is handling multiple Scrum teams, so even if your product owner handles multiple Scrum team, it becomes very essential to have business analyst for each of these Scrum teams, which can ultimately assist product owner in handling of those Scrum team. So the answer is PO should not handle multiple Scrum team. If he is handling, it should be for a single product, and a team of BAs or sub product owner should assist him in that task. Then the another question which we have is just the reverse of this question. Can we have multiple product owners handling one Scrum team? Answer says no. We should not have multiple product owner for one single Scrum team. Reason is this would lead to conflicts. We know that PO takes a lot of crucial decisions. He is the one who is maintaining backlog, refining backlog. So having multiple product owner to take those decisions would lead to a lot of conflicts, and that is why we should not have multiple product owner for a single Scrum team. Then the third question which people are asked with, what and who should handle the roles and responsibility of a product owner if he is absent. So in his absence, if he has a team of business analysts, they can cover up for him. If it is a planned leave, then Scrum Master in advance can understand what the role and responsibilities are of this product owner, and can take up the handover from him for those planned leave period. And as a general rule also, what it says that Scrum team always should kept their user stories refined at least for next 2 sprints, so that even if your product owner is absent, it should not create any dependency on him. So this is about product owner. Then the second important role which we have in a Scrum is of development team. So firstly, we know development team is cross-functional in nature. Development team is self-managed team. Development team is the one who is going to have edge-shaped individuals. a T-shaped individual where they have generalized skills as well across different domains and a specialized skill in one domain. And so yeah, these are the features of development team. In case you want to revise what a cross-functional team is, why we don't have any roles defined or designations defined in Scrum, every development team member is ranked equally. So there are no hierarchies defined into the Scrum. The team is cross-functional. If you want to just go into the detail of it, you can just watch our previous Agile videos. I will drop their link in the description box below. Just understand these features and you will get to know what the development team looks like and what are these features. So the role of a development team is in the execution. We know that after the planning meeting takes place, development team is the one who is going to execute that sprint by developing those user stories, those features which they have planned to deliver within a sprint. So as we know, the development team is a self-managed team. No one will tell them how they will achieve Scrum goal or that sprint goal, and they will themselves manage their work in order to deliver to that sprint goal. So sprint execution is the responsibility of the development team. They need to inspect and adapt. So Scrum team, especially the development team, they participate into inspection and adaptation on daily basis and on periodic basis also through these daily Scrum meetings, where they highlight any impediments they are facing. They adapt their next day planning basis the impediments which they are facing and which have got highlighted into daily Scrum. Then they also participate into retrospective and reviews meeting. That also gives them a good opportunity to inspect and adapt onto the work they have done. Then the third responsibility which the development team has is grooming the product backlog. So we know that refinement of backlog is the primary responsibility of product owner, but he doesn't do it solely. Development team helps in grooming the product backlog, where the team would sit together. They will estimate the user stories. They will give them certain story points, and basis the velocity of the team and the capacity of the team, they will commit the number of stories they are going to develop within a sprint. Any clarification on the requirement they can take with the development team can take from the product owner. Then they also need to plan that sprint. So as we just discussed, execution of that sprint lies with development team. No one tells them, because they are self-managed, no one tells them how they are going to achieve the sprint goal. The entire planning lies with development team, and they also participate into the sprint planning meeting, wherein they decide the number of user stories, features which they are going to develop. So this is the role of development team is. Now, few confusing points which we have, which we must understand in order to get the clarity of the role of a development team. First is, who does they report to? So, do they report to Scrum Master? No, they don't report to Scrum Master. Then who actually does this? Does they report to? So within every Scrum team, they also have certain development managers who looks after the work of the development team. These development managers will not manage any day-to-day activities related to your sprint, but the development team would report to these development managers, and any progress related to them, any feedback related to the development team should always given to these development managers by the Scrum Master or the product owner. Then the other question which we have is can we do changes in the composition of development team when this when any sprint is going? So there is no rule defined in terms of changing the composition of the development team. If you feel that there is a need of a specialized skills or more additional resources in order to achieve the goal of sprint, then you can always add more members. At the same point in time, if you feel that there are certain development team members which are not required, then you can also remove them, or you can retain them for certain period of time, and then when the work comes, they can just again pitch into the extra work which comes into place. So this is the another important role which we have just discussed of development team. The third important role which we have in the Scrum is of Scrum Master. So what is Scrum Master? Who is Scrum Master? So Scrum Master is the one who is actually who is the best known person of what the Scrum framework is. What are the He is the one who has mastered Scrum, and he is helping not only the organization, the development team, and the product owner also to adapt to the Scrum. So Scrum Master, another important feature about Scrum Master is he is the one who is playing the role of a servant leader. He is the one who is facilitating a lot of work for development team, and he is the one who is playing the role of impediment remover for the team. Any impediment which the team is facing, they can always go to Scrum Master, and Scrum Master will always play this role of removing those obstacles, removing those inefficiencies, making team understand what Scrum is, and helping the team mastering the Scrum. So we have just drawn one small figure here which says, the third one column says O stands for organization. This black circle stands for product owner. The blue circle is for development team, and the center to all of these three, organization, your product owner, and development team, lies is Scrum Master. So he is actually helping all three of them. First, how he is helping organizations? He is helping organizations in highlighting any bottlenecks which are there into any of these departments, in highlighting any inefficiencies, in firstly making the entire organization understand what the Scrum is, and helping the organization adapt Scrum process. So that is how Scrum Master firstly helping the organization. Second is how he is helping the product owner. So we know in all the responsibilities which a product owner plays, he helps product owner. Scrum Master helps product owner in handling those responsibilities in the most efficient manner. So for example, he helps product owner in refining the backlog. He helps product owner in better product management. So product backlog is, we know product owner is responsible for maintaining this artifacts, updating this artifact, which is product backlog. So Scrum Master always helps in better product management to this product owner. Scrum Master helps in refining the backlog for refining the backlog with product owner. He comes up with the prioritization techniques such as Moscow approach, wherein you know what are the must-have figures, should have features, where you could have features. So through all these techniques, Scrum Master helps product owner in achieving the better product management. He also helps product owner in making the team understand, the development team understand what is the importance of a clear and concise user story is. So he helps product owner in defining those user stories also. So that is how he is helping product owner. He is also helping product owner by facilitating those scrum events like daily scrum meeting, retrospective meeting. So one role towards Scrum Master, one role towards product owner. We have also understood how important he is for an organization. The third role which he plays is for development team. So we know that for development team, he is the servant leader. In case you want to understand what servant leadership is, please go back and watch our previous videos. So he is the one who is facilitating these scrum meetings. He is removing any impediments which the team is facing. Scrum Master is helping team adopt scrum values. They help development team in execution of execution of the scrum goal, and he is the one who ensures that if development team is facing any impediments, it should be removed so that the goal of the scrum can be achieved. So that is why the role of Scrum Master is central to the organization, product owner and the development team. Now the last part of our video, which is certain confusion which we have regarding the role of a Scrum Master. So first question which we have is, are Scrum Master and Product Manager the same role? Answer says no. The role of a project manager is levied with many more responsibilities. Project manager has the authority to take the decision, which Scrum Master doesn't have. Project manager also does a lot of project related work such as budgeting of the project, reporting of that project. That is not done by Scrum Master. Any team which is following Scrum, they could have this another role of project manager. So this role is not defined. Project manager's role is not defined in Scrum, but they can have certain authoritative person or certain person who is responsible for managing these reporting activities which a project manager plays, like financial reporting, budgeting, or any other task which a project manager performs. So what we understood is servant, Scrum Master and Project Manager are two different roles, and Scrum Master do not have authority to take decisions which Project Manager has. Second question which we have is, can we have a role of a Scrum Master as a full-time role or a part-time role? So it completely depends upon the maturity of your team. If your team is mature enough in the understanding of Scrum values and they are self-managed enough, then the role of a Scrum Master for that particular team could be of part-time role or an advising role. But completely depends upon the needs of the organization and the needs of the of that Scrum team is. That whether it should be a full-time role or a part-time role. Then another question which we have is, can product owner play the role of a Scrum Master? Answer is no. Product owner and Scrum Master, both of them have separate responsibilities. Uh, Within Scrum, we need all these three roles. Role of a product owner, Scrum Master and development team. No role can take place, can replace another role. So, the product owner cannot replace Scrum Master. Another question which we have is, can development team members replace or play the role of Scrum Master? Ideally, no. Development team should not play the role of a Scrum Master. In case Scrum Master is not present for few days, then a senior development team member can play the role of a Scrum Master, but only for that intermittent period. Then the question which we have is, can one Scrum Master should manage multiple Scrum teams? Ideally, no. But if the team, Scrum team is in the stage of maturity, development team understands Scrum values, and then in that case, we can have one Scrum Master playing the advising role for this current team, and then he can also manage another team at the same point in time, though it is not recommended, but completely depend upon the maturity of the team. So that is how a Scrum Master can play or give his services to the multiple Scrum teams. Even then, if he is giving services to a multiple Scrum team, it should be for a single product, not for managing different projects, not for managing different products. So what we have understood in today's video is what Scrum is, what its values are, what are the three important roles, and we have also clearly understood the roles and responsibilities of these three different roles. So I hope the questions which we have answered regarding these roles will give you a good clear understanding of Scrum. In our next video, we will discuss about the artifacts which we have. We will also discuss about the various Scrum events. So please stay tuned. It is a very important topic for your PMP exam preparation, and please do keep sharing your feedback with me. Thank you so much.